Hello, my name is Teresa Dean, and first of all, I want to say thank you for taking the time to meet with us today, even if it's over Zoom. And basically, this is a meeting that is required from the Muskogee County School District, and the number one thing we want to do is make sure that your child is on track for graduation. And actually, that's already, as counselors, we've already checked all of that, but we want to make sure that we are all on the same page, I should say, as far as what your child needs for graduation. So we will go over graduation requirements, and you should be emailed some documents that highlight what your child needs for graduation. And we'll ask that you send those documents back signed, but you'll, have that copy to keep for yourself as well. But we will go over graduation requirements. But then we will also cover just some general information about college applications. Um, at this point, it is still very early in the college application process. The main deadlines that have passed are um, early application deadlines. So, if a child has not started, there's still plenty of time and still plenty of things to do. So we just want to go over some of the basics to make sure you have all the information you need to help your child out through the process. But also, I just want to show you at the end some of the ways that we help to keep you guys informed, just with everything going on throughout the senior year. So to start things out, like I just said, we want to make sure that you guys are in the know about everything going on here at Northside High School. This year has been a little bit different and a little bit challenging for everybody to get adjusted. But with that have come some great things, and we've been able to adjust and find new ways to get in touch with students and keep them up to date. So first thing, most students, pretty much all students, if they have a class at Northside, they know what Canvas is. And the nice thing about Canvas is there is a page where, as counselors, we can post announcements. So on that Canvas page, anytime we get information about scholarships, we'll post it there. A lot of colleges are doing free applications and things like that. So anytime we get that information, we'll post it on that page. Along with, if there's important information from the school, we will post it on that Canvas page as well. There are classroom lessons that we do during ILT where we try and keep the students informed about how they can, do various things. We do lessons on, just like stress and study habits, but also some of the earlier lessons were to the students, how we like to keep them informed. Also, during that ILT time, every day is when our school announcements are played, and that is during fifth period. If a student misses the school announcements, then they are posted on the Northside website. The way that we keep you guys up to date with everything, all the big information that goes out, is through our automated phone call and email system. So if you missed, whether it be the notification about this makeup meeting or the first meeting times in general when things were emailed out and phone calls were sent out, please call or stop by the main office and make sure all of your information is up to date. We want to make sure we have all of your correct information so that you are getting all the information that you need. And then, of course, the student portal and parent portal are available where you can check your child's grades. A lot of senior parents will, kind of say it's their senior year. It's on them to make sure to, stay informed, and, it's on them to make sure they're keeping their grades up. But at the same time, they're still high school students, and a lot of times seniors think they should just be able to glide on through their senior year. And it's not that way. There's still work to be done. There's a senior year for a reason. That we still have 1 year left to prepare the students for the real world. So we want to make sure, they're doing everything they're supposed to do. Lastly, we have the Northside website where Ms. Killingsworth does a great job of keeping things up to date on there. And then we also do have an Instagram page for both the school, and we have a counseling Instagram page. If you go to the Canvas page where we have announcements for the students, then you'll be able to see what the Instagram page is. One of the announcements is the link, or excuse me, the handle for our counseling Instagram page. So if you're on social media, it would be a good idea to follow us there. And then last thing, parents, like I said, all of your students have access to Canvas, but along with that, you have access as well if you would like it. That was another parent phone call and email that went home where we gave information about how you can set yourself up as a viewer on Canvas. So if that is something you would like to do, like I said, an email was sent home, but I believe all the information about how to connect is on our school website as well. Oh, and last thing, I'm so sorry. I wanted to let you know, and I'll show you at the end where you can find all of our emails, but all of our counselors in the past, we divided everybody by grade level. So traditionally for the past about 7 years, I was our senior counselor, but we decided to switch things up a little bit this year and do things by the alphabet. So again, I'm Teresa Dean, and I have students with last names A through G-O. Auburn Randolph has students' last names GR through O, and Nikki Rollison has students with the last names P through Z. And then Ashley Redondo, we have her just part-time, unfortunately, but any help is awesome. She's with us part-time in another school part-time, but she works with all of our dual enrollment students. Okay, a brief overview about the graduation requirements. Students need 23 credits to graduate. And within those 23 credits, there are certain credits that students have to acquire. So they have to have 4 English credits, 4 math credits, 3.5 social studies credits, and 4 science credits. And you'll see within each area, there are certain classes that students have to take. So like I said, each counselor, we went through all of our students. We made sure that all the way through the students have taken all the classes they need, and then we have highlighted the classes this year that they absolutely have to have for graduation. Along with the core classes, students do also have to have a half a credit of health and a half a credit of personal fitness. So like I said, you will receive a document that has the highlighted courses your child needs for graduation. And if you can sign off, basically that is saying that you understand your child has to pass the highlighted classes to be able to walk in the spring. A passing grade is a 70 or higher. So if a student does not get a 70 in one of those highlighted classes, they unfortunately will not be able to participate in graduation in the spring. They would have to come to summer school. And if they pass their classes at that time, then they can participate in the Muskogee County summer school graduation. So again, if a student does not pass one of the classes they need for graduation and get to the 23 credits, they will not be able to walk at graduation. And along with that, they would not be able to participate in any of the senior activities. Okay, a little bit about college planning. This senior class, as we all know, things are a little bit different for them as far as just, getting information out when they normally would have received it. And what I mean by that is during the student's junior year, typically we, well, in the past, Ms. Rollison was our junior counselor, and she would start going into the junior classes and introducing them to a lot of just like the information that they need to prepare for college planning. So again, unfortunately, a lot of these seniors did not get that in the spring. So everything I'm about to go over, we did introduce the students to very early on in their senior year through ILT. We made videos showing them websites that I'm going to discuss. So I might sound like a broken record as I'm going through things, but I will say a lot of what we've gone over, there are videos made that students can go back to ILT, the ILT module, and reference those videos. So just know that, that information is available if they need a quick reference on a reminder how to do things, I guess. Okay. At this point, students definitely want to have narrowed down their schools that they want to apply to. Typically, we suggest about 3 to 5 colleges. And just a heads up, this all pertains to, whether a student wants to go to a community college, 2-year college, technical college, or a 4-year university. All of this applies. So once they narrow down the schools that they're interested in, they would want to pay attention to admission deadlines. Some of the larger and more competitive schools will have deadlines coming up here in January, so they want to pay attention to that. But also something to take note of is if they are interested in some of the scholarships the college might offer, they need to be aware of the scholarship deadlines as well. And an example of that would be an easy example is Columbus State. Students that want to go to Columbus State, if for regular admissions, they would just need to apply by typically their deadline's around June 1st. So students have plenty of time to apply. But if they're interested in, if they're interested in one of the honors college scholarships, that deadline is in January. Or if they're interested in servant leadership scholarship, that deadline is typically in March. If you have not applied to the college, they're not going to look at you for the scholarship. So always pay attention to both the admissions deadlines and the scholarship deadlines. On this page, I also mentioned test scores, because typically you do want to take the test, obviously, and get your test scores in before that college deadline. Again, this year's a little bit different. The Georgia Board of Regents has basically said that all seniors this year, if they are applying to Georgia colleges, do not have to provide test scores. And obviously that's because a lot of that testing in the spring and throughout the summer was canceled and students could not get in for testing. So they have taken away that testing requirement. Now that's only in the state of Georgia. So, if you're interested in an out-of-state college, they will want to contact that college to find out where where they stand with the testing requirement. Navient is a website that Northside provides for our students, and if you have younger students, we provide it for 9th through 12th graders, and basically it's college and career readiness preparation, but also students can apply and request documents through Navient. So it's very helpful in a lot of ways. But it's helpful in this step because you can research scholarships and you can research colleges. So with the colleges, it's great because they can save colleges that they're interested in to a list. Then later on, if they decide to apply, they move it to their admissions list. But along with that, the colleges will have a page where, excuse me, you can connect to a representative. So if a student's interested in Auburn, but they're not sure if they have to provide test scores, they can go to that Auburn page and just click a button to contact somebody from Auburn and ask that question. And it's a quick way, an easy way to get quick information about the colleges. And you'll see over here too, we have the Georgia Futures website, which I'll go into a little bit of detail about in a minute. Collegeboard.org is where students, if they do want to take the SAT, where they would sign up for the SAT, and ACT.org is where they would sign up for the ACT. Colleges are going to be asking for a few main things when students are applying. They want the college application. They'll need the initial transcript. They will, depending on the college, could want the test scores, and they'll want the application fee. Just a heads up, when applying, you will, students will, it could vary how the college has them apply. It could be directly through the college website. It could be through Georgia Futures, and it could also be through Common App. So there are various ways that colleges will have you apply, and just be aware that, you'll just have to follow that college's protocol. I will go over in a minute how to request initial transcripts from Northside, but I do want to let you know, once you get accepted to a college, they will start asking for additional documents. Basically, once they accept you, they want you to come. So they want you to go ahead and start sending in the additional documents and things like that, so they can get you ready to go. But they're going to request a final transcript. That final transcript is the transcript that has your senior year grades along with your graduation date. Obviously, we don't have that until the end of the year. So basically, you'll want to make sure that once they start requesting that, don't request the initial or the transcript again, because the only transcript we have to send is the one they already have. Basically, you only send your final transcript to the college you choose to attend. Along with that, at the end of the year, we will, during graduation practices and by announcements and things like that, we will let the students know how they need to apply or excuse me, request that final transcript. But again, you don't send that final transcript to any college except for the one you are attending. Sometimes students might be taking a break at the end of the year and taking some time off from school, but plan to go back, or they, want to do a few years in the military and they might want to go back to college. I would suggest requesting a few hard copies of your transcript that you can have and hold on to. They'll be in a sealed envelope, and from there you hold on to them, and when you're ready to apply to college, you'll be able to mail that off on your own. To request transcripts right now, we have two ways which students can do that. They can request transcripts through Navient or through Georgia Futures. Navient, we can send transcripts electronically. The nice thing about Navient is we can send both transcripts in-state and out-of-state electronically, where we used to have to send out-of-state, by snail mail. Now we can do both through Navient online. If students want to use Georgia Futures, then they can log into their Georgia Futures account and we can send the transcripts to Georgia schools. So either one is fine. Please do not send an email request. We will not, if you send it through email, we'll just respond and say you have to, request through one of these means. The only way you can request through email is if you need a paper copy, if you're applying for a scholarship or something like that, and you would email Mrs. Moffitt, and she would provide that document for you. And basically she'll tell you when to come back and pick it up. A little bit about scholarships. Again, a couple of good places to start for scholarships. Georgia Futures and Navient have both really good scholarship pages. Georgia Futures, if you go to their financial aid page, it has access to a scholarship database. Navient is awesome because students can go to a scholarship search and basically they fill out a document about themselves and it automatically matches the student with scholarships that match what they fill in about themselves. So it kind of takes the legwork out for them. It updates throughout the year, so we always encourage students to continue to check throughout the year. Again, we, through our ILT videos and Navient, showed students how they can access this information. So if they can't find it on their own in Navient, then they can refer back to the videos that we made for them at the beginning of the year. We also encourage students to make sure they're checking their Canvas announcements and the guidance page on the website. Anytime we get a scholarship, we will post it on Canvas and on the scholarship page on the Northside website. Along with that, fastweb.com is another matching system that emails students with scholarships that match their, things about them. Big Future through College Board is a great resource. I always tell students to be aware of scams, just because there are a lot of websites that will ask for money. And you don't necessarily, you don't want to pay money to get money for college. If it's $1 or $2 to download an app that'll notify you of new scholarships, that's different. But if it's asking for a chunk of money, then you don't need to do that. We're already providing those services with resources like Navient. The free application for federal student aid. So we did have a financial aid night already. Every year we have Katie Minnick from the Georgia Student Finance Commission come, and she will go into depth about the FAFSA application. So you'll see right here, the fasfa.ed.gov. That's the correct website to use to fill out the FAFSA. The FAFSA is what determines, how much financial aid a student can get, and whether it be loans or grants. But if you ever have any questions about how to fill out the FAFSA, there is Katie's email. And also we have her presentation that's more in depth about financial aid and Hope Scholarship. We have that available on the Northside website on the scholarship page. It's the first link that's listed. So all of her contact information is on that presentation. So whether you want her email or her phone number, all of that's provided on her presentation that she left for us. Also, the FAFSA for this school year did become available on October 1st, so you can go ahead and start filling that out and submit it. Hope and Zell Miller Scholarship. So just real brief, again, Katie Minnick went into further detail about these scholarships, but just some basic information. The Hope Scholarship, students have to graduate with a 3.0 Hope GPA to be eligible for Hope Scholarship. They also would have to have taken 4 rigor courses throughout their time at Northside. Those courses are provided on the Georgia Futures website, along with, we have them in our guidance newsletter. So if you want to check and see if your student has taken rigorous courses. Also, when students log into gafutures.org and they check their Hope GPA, it'll let them know where they stand, both GPA wise and with their rigorous classes. There is a difference between the Hope Scholarship GPA and the Northside GPA. Northside will give a point extra weight for AP and dual enrollment classes, where Hope Scholarship only gives a half a point, and we give a half a point for honors and accelerated classes, where Hope does not give any extra weight there. So please know there is a discrepancy between the two GPAs. We always encourage students to check their Hope GPA, and the main reason for that is you want to make sure you know where you stand, because you could have a 3.0 and in your senior year, if you don't do well in classes, drop below that 3.0, and there goes your Hope Scholarship. So it kind of helps you to see where you are. But then along with that, if you log in and don't see your Hope GPA, then there could be some technical issues. The first thing is to make sure on your profile in Georgia Futures, you provided your legal name, your address, and your social security number and birth date. All of those things have to be provided for them to be able to tie what we upload to the system with their information to calculate that Hope GPA. If all of that is there and it's still not showing up, let your counselor know, because it could be just like a simple glitch in our system that we would need to fix. Zell Miller Scholarship, Hope Scholarship. One last thing about it, it covers 90% of a student's tuition, and tuition is only the classes. There are a lot of other fees, unfortunately, that come with college. It could be the room and board, the books, the extra activity fees. All of those things you still get charged in full for that, but Hope Scholarship does help with that tuition, so that's always nice. Zell Miller, all of the same requirements stand, but instead of a 3.0, students have to have a 3.7 Hope GPA, along with they have to have test scores, either a 1200 on the SAT or a 26 on the ACT. And then again, the 4 rigorous courses. We have not heard from the state on whether or not they're taking away that test requirement. As of right now, it still stands. Students can lose Hope when they go to college if you start with a 3.0, but they check every 30 credit hours. If you drop below the 3.0, you would lose Hope Scholarship. If the next checkpoint you get back above a 3.0, you can earn it back. But if you drop again, you lose it for good. For Zell Miller, again, if you drop below that 3.0, you can regain Hope. You cannot regain Zell Miller. To maintain Zell Miller, students have to maintain a 3.3. So if you drop below that 3.3, but you still have a 3.0, you can keep Hope Scholarship. Also, if students go to college and they don't, like, even if they graduate high school with a 2.999, unfortunately, they do not round up. So you would start college without Hope Scholarship. But if are still in Georgia, again, all of this, you have to be in Georgia. But if you're in Georgia and after the 30 credit hours, earn a 3.0, then you earn Hope Scholarship. Okay, Hope and Zell Miller grants are very similar to the scholarship, except for this pertains to the technical college system of Georgia, where students can go to a technical program and earn a degree. And it could be, there are so many examples, but just here at Columbus Tech, a few examples would be nursing, radiology, we have cabinetry, we have welding, we have cosmetology, and that is just barely scratching the surface. So if you have ever been interested in a technical degree or a program along those lines, I highly suggest checking out Hope and Zell Miller grants. One of the pros about that program is students do not have to have a 3.0 Hope GPA. Okay, last couple of things, and then I'll show you some websites. You will hear about another senior meeting that will take place in the spring. Excuse me. Typically, that meeting is in March. Obviously, with COVID, we're not sure how the next few months will go, but if things go as they normally would, we will have a meeting in the spring in the evening. We typically have it across a couple nights. And Mrs. Teasley and Mrs. Rogers run that meeting. And basically what it is talking about the upcoming senior activities, graduation practices, graduation, and all the protocol that goes with that. Muskogee County does require that meeting because basically you're going to get all the rules as that pertain to the Civic Center where we have graduation. So please know when you hear about a meeting in the spring, that is another required senior meeting, but it is done a little bit differently. If you have any questions about senior dues, class package, anything like that, Mrs. Winchester would be the person to contact. If you bought the class package, you're set for the year. If you did not, you will have to pay class dues and get the cap and gown and diploma cover if you plan on walking at graduation. So like I said, Miss Winchester can answer any and all questions about senior dues. All right, and last thing and biggest thing, like I said at the beginning, the main point of this meeting was to make sure we are all on the same page as far as what your child needs for graduation. If you have seen, the highlighted classes that they need for graduation, and some of those classes are low, then you definitely, it's on the child first. If you go into Parent Portal and you see that there's assignment after assignment after assignment that they have not been turning in, then that's on them. It's time to make a turnaround, get work turned in. But if you see them at home working, they're giving everything and they're struggling. They're going to tutoring, they're doing everything they need to do, and you feel like you're kind of at a loss of what else they can do to get back on track. We can definitely set up a parent teacher conference. You would contact your counselor, your child's counselor, and we can get the conference set up. We've been doing all conferences on Zoom. They've been working out pretty well. It's convenient for parents because they can Zoom from home or the car, like when they're parked, obviously. And then also like in the office, or, we have some parents that are teachers and they're Zooming from their classrooms before the day starts. So the Zoom conferences are working out really, really well. So if we need to set that up with your child's teachers, just contact the counselor and we will help to facilitate that. And it might be one of those things where they haven't been turning anything in and you just want to touch base with the teachers with like, okay, how can we start over, get back on track? We can set that up as well. Because the thing is, it's still early enough in the year where things can turn around, students can make that change, but there is going to get a point where it's too far gone. So we want to make sure to kind of make the turnaround now, do what all we need to do. Students, if you need to go see your counselor for just like help with how to get on track, or if you're overwhelmed with things, let us know. Along with that, teachers, the start of the year was really hard on teachers, and they recognized it was really hard on students. It was a tough transition, and teachers recognize that. And the majority of teachers that I've talked to have, in some form or fashion, been offering recovery options for students. So please know if your child was offered recovery and they did not take advantage of that, they're making it that much harder on themselves to get back on track. And unfortunately, have had teachers report to me that they offered, like one teacher said they offered 17 students a recovery option and only 4 actually took advantage. So at the end of the year, when the student is asking what they can do, the opportunities are being given now. So students have to take advantage of these things now. It's not going to be in 1 week, what can I do to make up for the whole year? It's just not, unfortunately, how it works. So again, if we need to set up a meeting, please let us know. Now let's see. Like I said, I want to show you guys a couple of websites. First of all, to get to Naviance, this is the Clever page. Students have this same page, and they have this green Naviance icon. So they would just click on that. When they get in, I'll show you what it looks like from the student perspective. This is what their page will look like when they log in. Again, sounding like a broken record, but for more detail about everything they can do in here, they can go to their ILT modules and look back at the Naviance video. But you'll see like college information's here, scholarship and money, apply to college. This is where they can save their colleges and then move it to their application list. Right here, if they click on this box where it says read more, it will show them if they're applying to a college through the Common App, it will show them the first video is how to match their Common App with Naviance. For us as counselors and teachers to be able to submit information for students, the students do have to match their Naviance with Common App. So, this video will show them how to do that. It's a very simple process. This video shows them how they can request their transcripts through Naviance. And then this last video shows them how they can request letters of recommendation. So one thing I would tell students, if they go here and they see how they can request their letter of rec, they still, obviously they have to request through here. This is how teachers send them, but they also want to show the students how, students want to go to the teachers to make sure that they are, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. They want to talk to the teacher, make sure the teacher is willing to write the recommendation. Also, they need to know that the student requested it, and they will get an email, but the teachers do get a lot of emails, so they want to make sure it doesn't get lost in the shuffle or go to their junk mail and they didn't see it. All right, next thing, Canvas. Okay, when the students log in, first of all, I'll show, let's see, I gotta leave the student view. All right, they will have a pretty similar course page. And so it'll have all their classes right here. They have access to this page, the Northside Communications page. And then if they click to student view, first of all, this gives counselor information, that gives our emails and pictures. We have SAT and ACT information, Hope and Zell Miller. But here are all the different videos. You'll see this is the Naviance information. This is Hope and Georgia Futures. This shows students how they can check their Hope GPA and request transcripts. So these 2 videos are really important. Excuse me, these 2 right here. All right, and then if they go to announcements, you'll see here, like we posted the CVCC scholarship link, required senior meeting information, all sorts of information here. And again, this is something that's available for all grade levels. So we just want to let you know this is where students can go to access important information. All right, I believe that covers everything. Again, if you feel the need to meet with your counselor, please contact. Oh, speaking of that, sorry, one more thing. I did want to show you guys where you can find us on the counseling page. If you go to the Northside website, you'll see at the top here, guidance and counseling. First of all, you'll see the scholarship link. You'll click on that, and the FAFSA presentation is first thing listed, and then other scholarships are listed below that. But if you come here to meet the counselors, all right, so this is Miss Moffitt. If you need a paper copy of your transcript, you can just click on here to email her and get her information. And then you'll see we have the rest of the counselors listed. That's me, has what last names I work with, Miss Randolph, Miss Rollison, and then again, Miss Redondo for dual enrollment. So, all right, I believe that is everything now. So if you have any additional questions, please let us know. Thank you so much.